Hey everybody, welcome to South Olympic Branch update number 98. I was telling my friend Chip about this company that used to be down in Grays Harbor that made like equipment for the mills and all that down there. They were called Lamb's Grays Harbor. My old friend Russ actually worked for them. And I took some pictures of their existing or the remaining structure from that plant while I was down there a couple of years ago. Of course, I can't find the picture now, but anyway, and I think they might have torn down the building by now. But this is kind of what the sign on the side of the building looks like. And Chip had basically, created this and then 3D printed it. And apparently, oops, sorry, I'll drop it. It's okay, but it's fine. But apparently he had found another picture where they had the writing was like that, and he created that too. So either one of those will make a good sign for when I get around to creating the building that I hope to build someday for that. So Merry Christmas to me. Well, actually what it is my wife said I'm hard to buy for it, and she's right. So she gives me a budget, and I got an alert from this company called Brass Trains. It's online. I don't buy much brass, but every once in a while I find something that's just, that suits my fancy. This is a coach that was custom painted for the with the Northern Pacific scheme, and it's kind of my jam because while it's painted for Northern Pacific, it's also lettered for SP&S. So really cool stuff, supposedly. But this is the first time I've seen it in person, so whew, it's been kind of cold out there. And of course, this thing being brass, it has taken on the temperature outside. So let's put this up to the camera so you guys can get a look at it. And I found online, if you go to Rail Pictures, you can find a picture of this, of the real thing painted like this in Spokane in like 1972. So cool stuff. Now sometimes these brass cars will cause a short on the layout. So my layout's not on right now. And the other one I have, which is an Oriental Limited, hasn't been a problem. So hopefully this one won't either. But it rolls nice. It's a good looking car. I ordered a vintage Trackside details kit because I wanted this cabinet. Got it through the electric train shop over in Burien. Already assembled one of the cabinets that it comes with. Most of the stuff is already assembled, but the bigger, whatever you want to call it, little hut is not. And of course, I lost the one little piece up here, but I can create another one of those. So, but anyway, I just need to paint that so it looks more like a real thing rather than a plastic thing. I'm going to put this on one of the Fremo modules. Well, the module I've spent talking about in the last couple of videos is getting closer to completion, or at least as complete as it's going to get. Added some Martin Welberg bushes here, and I'm considering putting some of that Hecky 1576 over here as well. And not really all that happy with the way that the Liquitex looks there, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do about that, so it may just stay that way through this show. You can see a lot of trees on here, and I'm out of trees that are handy to add on to here. And the super trees really aren't sturdy enough to be the primary tree for this. I've been hesitating on gluing the roof on the house because I was thinking I wanted to light it, but that's yet another project. So this morning I got a little bit of work done at Martin and Son here, put in some stuff, some ground foam there, and I also put in some of the actual ballast over there, and I cut a piece of this flexible foam to work on the crossing. That actually turned out better than I thought it would, but I got to do the backside of that as well. Also, I drilled a hole so that the plywood fill-in piece back there is now anchored. I just have to figure out how to better hide that seam in the front. But I think I'm going to put a bunch of trees and landscaping back there to kind of blend in the background. So it probably won't be all that visible when it's said and done. Installed some trees and some, background foliage along there. I think it really makes the scene a lot better, although I still have to do the ballast. So the scenery back there, there's a couple of Grand Central Gems trees in there, but there's some of those previous, can't think of the name of the company anymore, but they're not around anymore anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then the stuff on the ground there is this Martin Wahlberg product, the WBSWCG. So, like I said, makes it look a lot better. Oh, I also put some brown flock and turf around it as well as some fine Woodland Scenics blend that I make up there. And now we're working on show setup, and that module you guys have seen me working on in the last couple of episodes has been integrated into our layout. And here comes a Pennsylvania, looks like 442 that's owned by Richard, most likely a Broadway Limited unit. There's Richard, the blurry guy in the background there. Mike, the guy who's blurry in the background this time, is running his new Athearn SW1500 that I believe has a economy in it. So I've also put some ballast on the spur behind the building. And I don't know if I'm going to leave this building here or not. You can see there's the lights on there kind of look sloppy. That's because they're not glued in or wired yet. That's something. I might change out this building for a different one. I'm even considering doing something that goes around the corner to help, hide the end of the peninsula benchwork there a little bit better than what than just the picture that I was going to put up there. We'll see. I mean, that's jury's still out on that. And as I've said before, once I do it, I might decide to do something else. Anyway, more trees have been planted towards the on down the line there, and I think the scene's coming together. I like it. Here comes my train, led by a couple of Rapido Jeep 38s that have ESU decoders in them. They sound really great. Here comes Brandon's train led by a UP Jeep 40 rolling across the module formerly known as Cat Scratch Fever. That module got its name when a previous member's cat attacked it and tore up the foam. But you can't tell that now. And here comes my train again, this time rolling across one of these Stampede Curve modules. An overpass scene that was inspired by a real place in Puyallup, Washington. Now we're peering between the buildings on one of Andy's city modules. Look out, here comes Fred's SP Daylight train. Recently got some or purchased some Tichy crossing signs, 8178, and put one in there and put one over there and one over there. I'm probably going to put one over there near where the yellow truck is as well, but I'm just not sure the best location for that. The downtown Renton to pick up some styrene from PNP Trains, which is a new store that's down there. While I was there, I saw the Renton Rocket was coming through, so I stopped to take video of it. The Renton Rocket is the BNSF train that brings fuselages from Spirit Aerospace in Kansas, I think it's Kansas, to the Boeing plant in Renton, Washington. As you can see, it doesn't really roll like a rocket through here. Leading the train is BNSF 2642, which was a Jeep 35, originally built for the ATSF in June of 1965. Now it's designated a Jeep 39-3. BNSF 3156 that's trailing is a Jeep 50 that was built for the Burlington Northern in November of 1985. Both of these are just according to the interwebs, you know. while we watch the rest of the Renton rocket roll by, I thought I'd go ahead and tell you a little bit about P&P Trains. That's Paul and Paula Pellegrino, and they've been selling at train shows and online around here for a long time. Recently decided to try having a storefront. So I got a space in downtown Renton, and they do mostly N scale, so not much what stuff I'd be looking for, but you know, styrene is not really scale specific for the most part, so there you have it. And that's what I got today. We'll see more of that maybe later in a different video. It's been pretty cold and pretty dry. Yesterday at this time it was 21 degrees here. That's cold for us. Maybe not where you guys are, but cold for us. Anyway, but I did get outside yesterday and worked on this module rack, and I'm adding, a couple shelves to it for the purposes of hauling some single track Fremo modules that another guy who's going to quit doing Fremo is handing off to me. So I had to build another rack as well, and that one's currently in the trailer, and it's got a little more work to go before I can go pick up those modules. Okay, so pardon the mess. I really can't get a great shot of this. But what I want to show you guys, and maybe I should just go full screen on this thing. Yeah, it's about as good as it gets. So this is a shot of the paper plant at Hoquiam in 1928. It's not quite done yet. They have finished building it. But anyway, this building here, I kind of like the looks of, and this is what I've been trying to like replicate here, or what I'm thinking. One of the buildings I've been thinking I want to put on in the plant, even though later stuff, later shots, it's not as visible because there's another building that's like they put like right here, and it's right in front of it. You can't basically see this one anymore. But I like the way this one looks. And I found Tichy have these windows that have tilt outs. You know, and I don't know whether they're supposed to go this way or they're supposed to go that way. But anyway, they have this tilt out feature here, which is this piece that'll be like glued in here at an angle. So, and also, you can't see the top of it here. I've got another picture of it. But this is a water tower, and this Tichy water tower seems to look a lot like that water tower. I'm like, okay, so I got one of those. And eventually I'll be putting that together. Now, as I look closer at the picture, and I look at the building, I realize that there's these windows, of course, are not all the same size, and I thought I was going to buy some Tichy windows that were a different size that I was going to put on another layer here, and apparently I didn't add them to the order. So there you go. Doggone it. I'll have to do something different on that later. Anyway, so I thought I had the materials to start this project, but I don't. And then I also thought, as I was looking at the corner piece here, the corner column, I noticed that, you know, for size wise, this is a 100 by 250, and I thought it would work really well for the corner. And so what I wanted to do was make a corner piece out of this. Well, I started looking at it, and of course, I mean, it would be too deep one way. So I am getting some more styrene that is going to be 100 by, or 0.100 by 0.125, and then I'll glue this together to make that corner piece. Now I could go with a solid like 0.250 square piece. I actually have some of that, but I don't want to. I've worked with that material before, and it gets a little hard to work with, or at least used to. I've got some better tools now, but anyway, I don't think I'm going to work with it. I don't think I'm going to use that stuff. I think I'm going to get it so I can do a L shape there, so that when I come here, I can do windows up to this corner and then windows down this side. And I've got one other picture of this from the air. Here we go. Right here's the building I was talking about that kind of blocks off the view of that other building. And then I like this building too. And of course, in this awesome picture, you can't really tell because, you know, this is video on the, and I'll try to remember to put the link to the picture in the notes for the video. But down here, there's some Hooker tank cars. Oh, and this picture is taken in 1960, right? So down here, there's some Hooker tank cars, and over here, there's some other tank cars, and the track comes in from down here, and it goes over here and over. It splits off, and it goes over here, and it also goes over here. And then when it goes over here, it splits, and there's a diamond right here, and that's where that track goes to those tank cars back there. I'm like, it's a very interesting and kind of messy track plan. And I don't think I'm going to get that in my actual paper plant, but it does give me some, what I think are going to be really cool ideas for the overall look of this thing. Also, another thing I like, and I haven't been able to find any kits that do this because I think I'd like to kit bash it rather than try to build this, is you see up here in the corner, there's this building that's got these, you know, I guess I would call them wedges maybe on top. And it seemed like that was at one point in industrial buildings, that was kind of popular. And I think the ones I saw had like window panes on one side of it, right? So you got a lot of that. I guess the idea was to get light into the building and yet not have it so flat that it would leak. Maybe I don't know. Anybody out there knows, you can tell me. I'll listen. But anyway, this is really, you know, there's a lot of little cool stuff in here, and I am really looking forward to kind of compiling my own version of the paper mill. At first I thought I would really like try to make it exactly what the mill looked like, but as I dug into this, I mean, look at this. Guys, I could spend my entire lifetime just doing that, right? And as much as many of these things would be cool to do, I'm not gonna do that. So let's see this. So these 8133 windows, those are the ones with one of the ones with the tilt outs there, and this water tower is definitely going to be in there. And then there's another shot of the water tower right there. See, and then there's over here. There's this big ass, excuse my French, big steel tank. And I've got another tank that is that will represent that. And I don't even know, you know, I'd really like to know how this all, you know, functioned together. But looking at the overall history of the plant, I can tell you that it looks like they added on and changed it, and did all this stuff. And looking at all this stuff, I can see why when it comes down to the end of it, that it probably got torn down, because this mess, this jumbled mess of manufacturing here, it probably became woefully inefficient compared to newer plants, just because there's no flow here, really. I mean, not that I can really tell. From what I know, and I'm yammering on and on about this, but from what I know, there's chemical over here, there's chemical over here. A wider shot of the area would show you that, maybe I can zoom out. Yeah, here we go. A wider shot kind of shows you the Northern Pacific trackage came off over here, and it circled all the way around the plant until it got over into this area where the actual loading, the warehouses for the shipping warehouses were. And then the track actually went off and around this way. And it's just, well, it's really cool, but it's also like, wow, there's a lot of stuff there. And like I said, one can spend their entire life trying to make all that. Anyway, there you have it. That's a good vision of my insanity right there. So I thought, okay, I don't have all the parts I need to build that building for the paper plant. I thought, you know what? I've really got a hankering to build something here. I'm gonna take a look at maybe constructing the storage building for the chemical plant. And this is it. This is the real thing. And I had to compress it way down to make it fit on my lab, but then none of the chemical buildings are big and are small enough to really fit, even in the sizable area I have. But I had a long time ago, a different episode, can't remember which one, sorry, I built this foam core mock-up, right? But it is, but the roof line is really too steep. So I'm gonna redo that. I'm also gonna shrink it a little bit, even more than I already did. These were compressed like 50% from in HO scale from the original one. And then I got thinking, I'm like, okay, I can dive into this project. I've got the board and batten that I can use for the outside wall. I've got some Rick's doors that I can put on here. I can put tissue paper over the bottom here and paint it gray to replicate cement. But then I started thinking about the roof line up here. I'm like, what am I gonna do with that? So finally I thought, okay, I'm gonna get some I've got styrene. I'll take styrene and I'll make some trim pieces for this up here. And then I discovered that I don't have the styrene for that. I feel like I've got a pile of styrene, and it's actually fairly well organized. I've got a drawer just by numerical order of styrene. Actually 2 drawers, come to think of it. But I don't have what I need for that. And work hours have just been such that I can't get over to one of the hobby shops when they're open, because that's when I'm at work. Anyway, so maybe tomorrow I'll get over there and get those pieces, because I need some 10 by 60 for this little lip down here. And I think I'm also going to use 10 by 60 up here. And maybe even a little piece for the drip rail on each one of the doors over there. It depends on how insane I get. And then that'll work out pretty well. I think I'm going to use Rick's roof panels for the top of this building. And I'll have to take a look from a higher view and see if I can see what kind of vent that is up there. They've got some really small lighting fixtures over here, but back in my day, back in the 80s, those didn't exist. So they must have had some other kind of fixture out there. I think I'm gonna go with a with an Atlas one that that looks like a quote unquote modern light that went over the door. I think those will be a good representation for that. Anyway, but like I said, I got thinking, ooh, I can build this. And then I really should build this. I don't know why I've been waiting for this. And then of course, I realized I don't have all the materials for it. Oh, and I added to my collection another Burkina wagon. You know, Burkina really is doing they're doing some really nice vehicles. I'm really happy with their stuff. I think that Jeep over there, that Wagoneer right there, I think is also, you know, another nice one. So those vehicles are really dressing up the 80s on my layout. So, and then I've actually got a couple more vehicles actually that are on the way now. But two of those are by Atlas. Those are the Fairmonts that were actually pretty common back in the day. Well, everybody, thanks for joining me for episode number 98 of my South Olympic Branch update series. I hope I actually get some more time in the next few weeks to do more work on the actual layout. In the meantime, check out the Scale Trains SD45 number 6558, starting the incline from Aberdeen towards the helix that would lead it to Elma.